Good morning to one and all. And we all know that the entire country is really suffering from coronavirus disease. So it is difficult for the students to attend the class. So instead, VTU, Government of Karnataka and India, as well as GIT, they have thought of conducting online classes so that students can much benefited through these classes. So today here I am going to handle the subject name is Management and Entrepreneurship. Under that we have already covered in the class 3 units. So we are going to be starting the 4th unit, and here what we have done is, as we all know that there are different staff handling this subject, including the IS department. So what we have done is, instead of one staff conducting all the parts of 4th unit, what we have done is we have divided certain parts of the unit 4 and unit 5 to the various faculties. So here today we are going to start the 4th unit. The name of the unit is Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises and Institutional Support. So this is what So just a minute, there are some small adjustments have to be made. I hope now the audio will be clear. Okay, fine. So we are seeing about unit 4. In that unit 4, there are I'm just going to brief what are the different topics I am going to cover. That is business environment in India, role of MSMEs, that is medium and small scale industries, government policies towards MSMEs, impact of LPG, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. So these are the topics which I am going to cover. Institutional support and the unit 5 will be covered by the different faculties. So the first, before we start what is business environment in India, we'll go with what do you mean by entrepreneur. So a little bit entrepreneur definition or basics about the entrepreneur is required, so that we can go through the other topics. So entrepreneur means, for example, an engineer want to start a new company. There are various challenges which he is going to face to start a new company. There are various factors which are going to will be implemented by the entrepreneur who wants to start a new company. So there may be a different challenges. So say for example, there may be a lack of labor and a lack of technological resources. There may be a lack of amount to be invested. There is sometimes there are various governments or various political parties who don't support some small scale industries. So there are different types, right? So there are different types. For example, if I say if a new college has to be opened, then if already one college is already present in the city, then it is very difficult for an entrepreneur to start a new college, because there is a college which is already well known to each and everyone. Then to start a new college in the same city, there are so many things that has to be taken care. How many branches has to be started, how many different faculties has to be recruited, then so many resources required. All the things have to be taken care. So only the money is not going to matter here. Okay, fine, I have a crores of rupees, fine, you start a college. It is not possible because there are various manpower is also required. So to choose a manpower, there should be some group of members would have to sit and decide. So who are the best person to recruit to run the college. So there are so many things. So these are some goals have to be set. We know that there are three types of minimum goals are set by a long-term goals are set by the higher level people. So these CEOs, administrators, these are the director, board of directors, board of members. These are going to set the long-term goals. So long-term goal is to start a college and to make it very famous in the next 10 years. So this is a long-term goal. And what was the short-term goal is? So you recruit some of the resources, take the resources, recruit the faculties, non-teaching staff, everything, and then start running the college. See, all this comes under the next level. So now what are the next thing is, we'll see what is small scale industries. See what is small scale industries. See, now when we say that what are small scale industries, so that we can see there the name itself tells what this is small scale industries. It means what? Initial investments to that industries is very less. So less means what is the range, what is the limit? So government has fixed certain time here investment. So in the year 1955, so what they have done is they have set a limitations of 50 employees, maximum 50 employees. The investment is up to 5 lakhs. So in the year 1955, they say that the small scale industries, if I say it is a small scale industries, in the year 1955, the government says there should not be, there should be less than 50 employees and the maximum investments is 5 lakhs. So now we can see there are various examples. What he says is some handicrafts, handlooms. There are different examples where they come under small scale industries. Now what they have done is, then the small scale industries has become popular after 1955. So then what happened? Then the government has amended. What it has done is, in the year 1997, what they have done is, the government has raised the investments up to 3 crores. 3 crores and the employees may be 100. So it has been done. But then what happens? Then again they thought that 3 crores is quite higher. So they have reduced it to 1 crore. They have reduced it to 1 crore. So these are come under small scale industries. Now the next thing is business environment in India. So what do you mean by business environment in India? So there are features are there. Some I'm going to write it. So we'll see one by one. Business environment in India. The first one is coexistence of private and public sector. Second one is low income level. Third one is poor rate of income. Fourth one, low level of technology. Now, so we'll go with the other when we see this. Now, the first one is coexistence of private and public sectors. So we know that there are some companies, some industries where they run in the public sector. Like you can say industries means not only these factories like that. You can say hospital industry. So hospital usually run in the public sectors. So there are some industries who run in the very private sections, like identifying the vaccinations for so many diseases. Now we are facing corona, so identifying vaccinations to some of the diseases. This cannot be, these tests, lab experiments cannot be done in the public sectors. So this can be done only in the private sector. So there are certain private sectors, private lab will be allotted, or usually we see such industries outside the city. Outside of the cities, fine. So the public sector name itself is, it tells that these sectors usually they are in the heart of the city or very nearer to the city, not like outside or outside the city, right? So coexistence of the private and public sector. Now the low income level. So here, so low income level means there are so many people, maybe middle class, low class, even higher middle class. So we'll consider middle class and lower class. So these people, they want to become a successful and want to earn money. But what happens here is, due to certain conditions, their income is very low. So now what happens in India, government is going to support such middle class or lower class people to start their own industries. Like, see, you have a talent, it can be used, you need a platform, government is going to provide you a platform. So what such type of examples are? See, there are some people who work in the morning, say in the college, in the afternoon, I mean once the college ends, in the evening, they can go for a taxi, they can go for auto, or they can go for another shop to produce the income for their family members, which will be contributing to the society. So now why such things have been done is, this low level income, what happens, usually low income level, usually what happens, the people who are below certain level, the government has certain level, such people want to become very successful, but it is not that easy for them to become a successful. Successful means, here I am speaking in terms of amount. They want to earn lot of money. With one job, it is not possible. Then what they do the overtime. In factories, some of the industries, there are some facilities to provide overtime. In some hospitals, there are certain emergency conditions where the doctors or not necessarily doctors, the supporting like nurse, brothers, or some of the staff of the hospital, what they do is they go for overtime. So some extra amount can be generated. Or see, there are some industries or organizations where overtime cannot be done, like colleges. So colleges, you cannot go for overtime, right? So maybe college ends at 5 o'clock, so maybe another half an hour or 1 hour, some extra activity. So you have to be maximum 1 extra hour, and there will be no income given if a person works in an organization such as educational institutes. An extra amount will not be given if a person works for an extra hour. So there will be no overtime charges here. So what they do is, there are so many people whose income level is very less. Such people, what they do is, they go for a different jobs, like they buy a taxi, they take a loan, they buy a taxi. For such things, government is going to provide help. And there are some loans are provided with very minimum interest. And see, then there are some farmers who, it is very difficult nowadays for the farmers to lead a life. So they come under low income level. For such farmers, government are going to provide lot of facilities. Using those facilities, they are going to start some small scale industries like, see, they can start marketing the pickles, which homemade pickles, women empowerment, such things can be done, right? Right, fine. So these are all low income level. Now poor rate of income. So these poor rate of income almost the same as low income level. Poor rate of income is here when in India the government has provided you the facilities, but the thing is what, there are fixed margins for some small scale industries. Say you are marketing very small scale industries, like you are marketing handlooms, handicrafts, all such things. So there is not such a huge income in that, right? You bought it for say 1,000 rupees, you might sell it for 1,100 or maximum 1,200. It's not like that you sell it for, or you sold it for 2,000, 3,000. Like there is it's not like such like that. Then the low level of technology. So this is very important. Low level of technology. So there are so many people who are not aware of the technologies, right? So business environment in India, it means what? Government is going to provide help by conducting various activities like making awareness of the latest technologies to the farmers, making awareness of, there are so many people who are not aware of some technologies. With the help of those technologies, the income can be generated, which might be helpful for the small scale industries. So the next one is underutilization of capacity. Underutilization of capacity. This is very important. This is really very important. Now what we are here going to study here is, now see, underutilization of capacity means, say I have started a small scale industries with 10 employees. So that the 10 employees to prepare a pickles, handmade pickles of various pickles, say lime, mango, tender, such different types of pickles, and pack it, market it. So either home to home delivery, or I am going to make use of the technology, which is some of the apps where online order can be received and it can be packed and sent. So these are the things. Now what happens, I have a manpower of, say I said 20, let's say 20, whatever it is. So now what I have to do is, in the sense the owner should make sure that the capacity of each person, either in terms of technology, either in terms of manpower, should be utilized maximum during the working hours. So how this can be done? So when this is possible, that is the next thing. So if a owner says you have to work here from 10 to, so you have to, small scale industry, you have to work here from morning 8 to say evening 8. So now if the owner says that you have to work from morning 8 to evening 8, so that working hours becomes 12 hours. Based on that, you have to provide the sufficient amount of a salary. And the next thing is whether only the salary is enough. No, it is not enough, because generally employee, what he does is, apart from the salary, what he looks for the security of the job. Of course it is a small scale industries, not much secured, but still compared to the other small scale industries, he will be thinking how much secured my job is, isn't it? How much secured my job is. So you have to provide the security. It's not like that 1 week you are the employee of this company and the next week, no, you are fired. It should not be like that. So the next thing is what? To boost up the capacity of the employees, you need to provide some bonus, some leaves. Whenever any employee asks a leave for his owner, you have to sanction those leaves. So this will boost the employee so that the capacity of a worker or of an employee, naturally it goes high. The next thing is appreciation. This is very important. See, whenever any employee has done the best work in front of others, you have to appreciate the employee, which will definitely boost the employee, right? So this is very important thing. So call the employees in front of others, you appreciate him, say very good, you have done very good job, fine, keep it up. So you have to announce, okay, see this person, he has done so many things, you follow him, then definitely there will be a positive energy created in the employees. So you can take another example is here. For example, in a class, if a student answers very well, then you have to appreciate in front of others. So but if a student fails to answer, never ever scold in front of others. That definitely demotivates the student or an employee. Okay, fine. What has to be done is, if say the student answers, if a student repeatedly does the mischievous things, then you go to the student, call him to the cabin, and you warn him not to do such things. That might be the best part, because in front of others, if you scold like anything to the student, then definitely it demotivates. Then there are some students who might listen. There are some students who go in the other way. They can take it positively or negatively. And teachers don't know usually. So what is the best thing is, you have to boost up the employees. How do you to boost up the employees? First one is, you appreciate, you give the salaries, increments, then bonus, sanction the leaves. So there are various things. So this is how underutilization of the capacity can be improved. So the next one is government interference. The sixth one is government interference. What does this government interference say? See, now we know that to start a small scale industry by a lower level person, lower level in the sense the income wise actually, lower income level person, it is difficult for him for initial investment. So what he has done is, he has taken the loan from the bank. Bank in the sense will say that the government has provided a loan. Now what happens? The government will make certain rules. Government will make certain rules. These rules have to be followed by the small scale industries or a companies. It means what? Government is going to interfere with the small scale industries or the company. Not completely. Say for example, the tax, maybe now GST, sales tax, marketing tax, certain tax. These are the tax which are imposed on the companies. Who is going to impose this? Government. So they are going to interference. And government again, they are going to say certain schemes. Say for example, there are certain schemes where certain materials like khadi, make in India, these equipments or these things can be, you should not say they are going to set limitations for the cost. Fine. So for a khadi and make in India, we have certain limitations where government is going to interference with the company. So this is how what we can say. Next thing is transportation. Transportation. What do you mean by transportation? So this transportation, transportation, how does it helps is for the small scale industries is, say after an initial investments of 50 lakhs, the small scale industry has been started, so many employees have been recruited, work is going on very well. Then later on years, what happens? There are certain goods which have to be transported to the various cities. there are certain times where the materials have to be transported. So in this transportation, you can take the help of the government. So you have to write there are certain procedures, say writing a letter to the higher officials and sanctioning. So government is going to provide you a transportation facilities with very less amount, right? So using some government buses, you can transport your materials. If at all you go for a private vehicles, the cost of course is high, and of course for the government they are going to certain the amount is very less. So this is how you go. And the next one is distribute law and order. Distribute law and order. Okay. So when you start, you should be very careful here. When you start a small scale industries, you have been supported by the government, you need to follow the law and order set by the government of India, right? So what do you mean by law and order? Means, say small scale industries, one foreign industry has started a small scale, let's not say MNC, a small industries who have started a small industries in India, then the rules followed by now. See, the nowadays, so the day-to-day is the day-to-day practical. It is the very best example for this. So the law and order, what it says, only 33% of the employees should be working. So this is the law and order set by the government. So government of India or government of Karnataka. So all the organization have to follow this. Proper sanitization, wear the mask, right? All such things. So such things you have to follow. Either it may be a small scale industries or large scale industries. You have to follow the law and order given by the government of India, right? So these are the various business environment in India. So we'll once again see. First one is coexisting of private and public sector. Second one is low income level. Third one is poor rate of income. Fourth is low level of technology, underutilization of capacity, government interference, transportation, and finally the distribute law and order. So these are the various business environment in India. Now we'll go for what is the role of MSMEs. What is the role of MSMEs? So what is the role of MSMEs here? We'll see. Just rub it out. So micro, small and medium enterprises, we call it as a MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises. What is this role is? See, there are some advantages. See, what is the role is? It is going to help, it is going to add some income to the Indian government or capita by paying some taxes. There are some advantages, I will just read it out. So here, the various advantages is, first one is, SSI don't require a high level of technology. See, for example, you have started very small scale industry, very small scale, so you need not to require, you did not have huge level of technology. Minimum level of technology is sufficient. For example, we have considered the example for a homemade products. What technology is required? Just almost nothing, only maybe simple app to avail the facilities of ordering online. Or simple app is more than enough. Okay. The next is, they do not require large capital. So large investment is not necessary for such things. Only few minimum investment, say up to, the government has set up to 1 crore. So that is more than enough. If it is a large scale industries, crores of together has to be invested. The next one is, see, there are, as we say that there are very less number of employees. So those less number of all the employees people can be used for productive purposes. Fine, productive purposes. And the advantage is that there are so many unemployed are there, where you can provide the employment to such persons, where it adds a little bit to the government to overcome from unemployment problem. See, that is the major reason where small scale industries has been supported by the government. The best why this thing is, see, everybody is not capable of getting so high rated jobs, or everybody wants government job, and it is not, definitely it is not possible. There are some certain limitations are there. You need to write the exams, you have to pass in the exams, then some interviews, and then based on the interviews and the exams you are being appointed in the government sector, right? So but when it is not possible for a person to join as a government employees, there are so many unemployed persons are there. To boost such people, a small scale industries is really going to help. The next thing is, now whatever project given to the small scale industries can be completed within a short period of time, right? Within a short period of time. See, why it is completed in a short period of time? Because the project which can be done within a short period, such project will be taken by the small scale industries employees. It's not like that to build a say 3 to 5 kilometers of a road will not be given to the will not be given to the small scale industries, because it requires a lot of employees, large number of employees, large number of resources are required to build 5 to 10 kilometers of a road. But instead what they do is, to small scale industries, what the government plans is, they call a tender for only 1 kilometer and another 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, like that. So there are various companies where we have, there are some companies we have 50 employees, 100 employees, 1000 employees, so more than 1000 also. So now to support all the levels, so what government has to do, government will do is, for some build, to build a government school, say government school, 50 is more than enough. To build 1 kilometer of a road, to build say 5 to 10 kilometers. So here entire apartment, so many government sector buildings, we need more than 1000 employees. So for this short term, the project assigned to the MSMEs will be completed within a short period of time. The next one is, then the raw materials required to complete a project. Raw materials means, here we are building a small school, right? Small school. The raw materials, minimum raw materials required can be taken locally. It's not like that you need a huge amount of huge amount of raw materials. For example, in a village, if you are going to build a small one school of 3 to 5 classrooms, government maybe 5 classrooms, so minimum raw materials required is available in the village. So if you are going to build a 10-20 kilometers of a road, huge raw materials, huge resources are required, where you have to get it, you have to import it from the other places. So to the advantage of the role is what? Local support can be made advantages here. So this is what the various advantages. The next one is, one more one is, there are so many he has written, we will discuss with a few here. Next, what he says is, we have already seen this one, one more. This will help in economic growth of the country. Definitely it will help in economic growth of a country. How does it help? Is definitely economic growth means you are going to generate some income, and in turn you are going to pay the tax, so it will help the government to economic growth. Then one more thing is, this creates immediate employment at a relatively small capital investment. That is what we have seen. Immediate employment will be created. So there, to appoint in a small scale industries, there is not a huge procedure. Your resume has to be so much strong, nothing like that. So minimum technology skills and there are some labors where technology is also not required. Just to build a small to build a small school in a village, not less immediate requirement is there, so immediate employment will be done. So that is what you can see. And there are some time where you take the help of a local people where they can work part-time for you, appoint some persons where they can work part-time. So there is a small scale industries where they give securities to ATM, securities to malls, organization. There is a small scale industry. So where to become a security, you need not to be highly qualified. So minimum knowledge is more than enough. This is how we can have the advantages. So the next one is there are some government policies towards MSMEs. What these are government policies? See, now I will write different policies of government policies. Government policies, say towards first one is we have to know a word called industrial policy resolution. You can say industrial policy resolutions. As we can say it as IPR. So in the year 1940, different policies which has been given by the government. First IPR is in the year 1948. What it is? So here what they have done is, in the year 1948, what government thought is, let us start small scale industries with very few employees. Okay, fine. So they have generated the ideas in the year 1948 with very less investment of very less amount of a capital investment. Small scale industries has been government has started. And what happened? Some disadvantages or there are some problems what they face. What the problems is? What they face is like shortage of raw materials and capital, and there are sometimes they don't have a skilled labor. Marketing has become tough, right? So in the year 1948 in India, maybe not much technologies has been if you compare in today's, that is 2020, if compared to the 1948, the technologies in India, they are not much improved in the year 1948 as of now. So what happened? There are very less skilled labor are there, shortage of raw materials, marketing has become tough. So then what they have done is, then this has been observed by the government, or there are some complaints raised by the small scale industries. In the year 1956, government has again some changes have been made. What they have done is, instead of going for small scale industries in the cities, they have taken the help of the people who lives in a village. It means they have given permission to all the villages to start a small scale industries. This has been done in the year 1956. What they have done is, so to strengthen the rural areas, rural people's skills. There are so many skills where we can see some what you can say from you can say that there are so many skills which can be inherited from certain families. So there are some people who inherit their skill from their families, their ancestors, that can be made use, right? That can be made use. So they supported for the village also. So in the year 1956. Then again in the year 1977, what they have done is they have given three types. One is in the year 1977. In the year 1977, what they have done is three types. One is cottage and household industries. Second one is tiny sectors. Very simple. The third one we can say it as third one is SSI, that is small scale industry. In the year 1977, cottage and household industries. We see that household industries we have already discussed that it is to improve the skills, have the household skills like preparing the pickles and some other household can be made use. The next thing is tiny sector. So initial investment is up to 1 lakh, and here initially census has been made. It is 50,000 with a population less than 50,000 according to 1971 census. In the population less than 50,000, you can start a plant or a machine industry where initial investment is 1 lakh. This is made by the government. Then they thought that where there are more than 50,000 of people, they said that you can invest up to 10 lakhs. It comes under small scale industries. So in the year 1980, 1990, then definitely government what they have done is they have adopted new industry policies where the investment started growing. So in the year 1990 and finally in the year 2000, the policies are in the year 2005-2006. Then the ministry has said that the Ministry of Small Scale Industries has identified 180 items of reservations. So small and medium enterprises were recognized in the service sectors and were treated on par with SSI in the manufacturing sector. So these are how it goes of the government policies towards MSMEs. So in the remaining classes, that is impact of liberalization, privatization and globalization of MSMEs will be taught in the next class, because it takes another minimum 20-25 minutes. So we have only 5-10 minutes remaining. So we'll take in the next class. Thank you for patience hearing.